to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks for coming tonight, everybody. Chairman's report, I signed the PR 20-05 for the Board of Selectmen and the VW 20-05 for North of Boston legal ad expense. Under grants, gifts, and donations, we have a vote to accept the World War II memorial donation from David R. and Paula Rock.
Motion to accept the gift.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you to the Rocks, longtime Byfield residents, and I worked with their son Jason for a few years. Very nice guy. We have an appointment to the Cultural Council. Bob Bracken, 3 years, 9/24/19 through 6/30/2022, and I'll read his letter briefly because we have an opportunity to. To the Board of Selectmen, Robin Lawson, Chair of the Newbury Cultural Council, invited me to join the council, and I'd very much like to be a member. I'm relatively new to Newbury. My wife, Reverend Rebecca Bryan, and I moved to Byfield in the summer of 2018. I work for Perfect Health, which runs geriatric primary care practices in the greater Boston area as a VP for customer care and clinical operations. We love the community and all that it has to offer. We were attracted to Newbury and the surrounding area in great part due to its cultural richness. Being part of the community is important to me, and being a member of the Cultural Council provides an important opportunity for me to participate and contribute to further promoting this cultural richness. Funding for community-based programs and projects is so limited, we must make effective use of the funds available. I've been involved at leadership levels with nonprofits and religious organizations most of my adult life. I've learned the skills necessary to assess how to best distribute the limited funds available to fund the many deserving individuals and groups. Thank you for your consideration of my appointment to the Newbury Cultural Council. Best, Bart Bracken, 69 Pearson Drive.
Well, I think it sounds lucky that we have a volunteer like that.
Absolutely.
Make a motion to accept.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, do you want to,
Yeah.
I don't know if we have, just in case we don't have time to get into the Byfield lease agreement.
Should I do the liquor license?
Yeah, I'm gonna recuse.
So we have a one-day liquor license, Mercury Brewing and Distribution Company, American Music and Harvest Festival at Spencer Pierce Little Farm, 5 Littles Lane, September 28th, 2019, 12 p.m. to 6 p.m.
Motion.
Second.
Is there anyone here who'd like to discuss that event? I didn't think so. All right. Any further discussion?
Nope.
All those in favor? Aye. One-day liquor license, Mill River Winery, American Music and Harvest Festival at the Spencer Pierce Little Farm, 5 Littles Lane, Saturday, September 28th, 2019, 12 to 6 p.m.
Motion. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
One-day liquor license, Kipwich Ale Brewery, Sweet Paws Rescue, Barktoberfest at the Spencer Pierce Little Farm, 5 Littles Lane, Saturday, October 12th, 2019, 11 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Motion. Second.
Any discussion?
No, I'm here, I'm Sweet Paws.
Okay. Come on up and talk about your event.
Talk about it on TV.
Sure. Well, I wasn't really ready for that. Can I stand over here?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Yeah, tell us who you are and a little bit about the event.
Yep, so I'm Teresa, I'm from Sweet Paws Rescue. I'm on the events team. This is our primary fundraiser of the year, Barktoberfest. Most of our rescues come from Mississippi and Alabama, where we have an extension of our rescue team down there. We have a bunch of women that we work with. They come up for this weekend, and we invite all of our past adopters and supporters to bring any of their dogs back to see the women who rescued them, as well as just a general fundraiser, having fun, getting all of our supporters out, and raising some money, keep our
And what sort
operations
of
going.
things do you guys do during the day, just so people who are curious about the event?
Oh, sure. So we're going to have a cornhole tournament. We'll have raffles. We have a symbolic adoption station, stuffed animals for kids. We have kids activities. So we have a band, Way to the River. They're local. I don't know if anybody knows them. They'll be playing a few sets for us during the day. And that's about it. Just hanging out.
Nice. Now is it dogs and cats?
We do rescue dogs and cats. Yep. Everybody's in need. Spot rescue.
I might. I need a dog.
So we have a second liquor license on there too, so.
Yeah,
Wine.
for wine, yes. You don't have to stay up and talk about the other.
Okay. Thank you.
Good luck with
Thank
the
you.
event.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? One-day liquor license, Latitude Beverages, Sweet Paws Rescue, Barktoberfest, Spencer Pierce, Little Farm, 5 Littles Lane, Saturday, October 12th, 2019, 11 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Motion.
Second. I think we have had
There we
enough
go.
discussion.
Yeah.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you,
Good luck.
everyone.
Have a great event.
Thank you, good luck.
Go get the chairman. Oh, he was listening.
Thank you.
Want to go to the revised upper green?
Sure. Do you want to kick that off since you've been working on it?
Sure. So we're gonna move on to skip around on the agenda a little bit because we have a public hearing coming up. We're gonna talk about the Upper Green Committee charge. We had to revise it because we used, or I used, I'm sorry, it was my mistake, the term public hearing, which it has a legal codification to it. And what I wanted was public meetings, and so we've just amended the language so that they can proceed without having to do all the steps that go into a public hearing. So, the revised language, as you can see, just changes out public hearing to public meeting. So, what I wanted
move to accept.
Sure.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Now we'll move on to the town hall committee.
Sure. We'll move on to the town hall committee. I don't know if we can zip through that one quite as quickly. So we sent this to legal, they had no issues with it. In talking to the building committee, Eric suggested that we might want to addend some metrics for review to the charge. And I had that printed up what he had sent to me, which was that they essentially have a ranking system, so they can rank any project and score it based on certain criteria, so that everyone knows what the potential projects are, how they're being weighted and why.
And that's mandated by state, correct?
No, for the committee, it's, when you select an OPM or an architect or something like that, it's
That's
mandated.
mandated by state.
But what we decided was that we like that system, and since the buildings have been contentious, we wanted to give the committee the tools to express exactly why this idea outranks that idea, so that it's very traceable, like the selection of the OPM or the
Okay.
architect was. And so these were his suggestions, and I'll just read through them since they just got here. So, location of project, size of project, how well does the project program, determine square footage, provide the required spaces for each municipal employee, how well does the project program provide additional space for future growth, what is the project construction cost and total project cost, what is the construction schedule, what value does the project provide to the town, does this project have any major deficiencies? And then in regards to the High Road site, is the building reused in any capacity? Is parking improved? Is the High Parker Morgan intersection improved? Is the fire station compromised in any way? Which option best represents the historic character of the town? And so, we don't have to do anything with these tonight, but I wanted to get it into everybody's head as an idea for something that, just like we revised the Upper Green Committee charge, that we may want to add these in, or some version of something like this, to give them pretty clear guidance, maybe when we seat the committee, about what they should be looking at, how they want to, and how we want them to define the success of different projects that they'll look at.
I mean, what this does, Damon, is each numerical bullet sets up a whole protocol of what's driving their thinking, and it's good. In other words, if you're gonna say how well does the project program provide additional space for future, you're gonna have a whole litany of reasons why, it sets things up that way, it's good.
Yeah, I thought it would be clear and helpful to make what the committee does understandable both to us and to all the
It
residents.
organizes their
In
thoughts.
the future, if you get something on Monday night, just try to get it out quicker, because I hate walking into a new article and saying, oh, that's Monday.
I understand it
Yeah,
was,
4:54 Monday night, we could have had it Tuesday morning early. Just saying.
Yeah, but we all get it now, we're not gonna do anything.
But still, you like to
Yeah.
read before you discuss.
Yeah,
well, I certainly understand, and I apologize for that. It was not my intention to get it this late, it was something we talked about, and then I remembered it as I was reviewing stuff over the weekend, and then Eric sent it to me, and
no, we have it now, we're not gonna move on it anyway.
so, as far as, I think what we should do today is if we want to accept the revised charge that we sent to Lisa at the last meeting, the meeting previous, we can accept that, and then when we seat the committee at the, possibly the next meeting, we could discuss this.
So, can we talk about the revised charge though? Before we go, okay, first of all, we've lost a member of the public, it looks like. One's not gonna be a voting member, one's gonna be an alternative. Okay, so we put on a capital planning member. When was all this done? The board, I mean, when did you do that, when was this discussed? Because I got this fresh the other day. So I mean, who put this together?
I rewrote this and brought it back to us at a previous
Okay,
meeting.
maybe the capital planning thing was new, wasn't it?
No, this is what we approved to send to Lisa.
Okay. It's like, but I'm just saying, I hate to see more town involvement and less citizen involvement. That's what I'm saying here.
But the capital planning committee are citizens that have
Right,
volunteered.
but then take one of the other members, because I talked to both people that we bought them in. It's like they got a lot on their plate already. Doug personally says, I don't want to be on this, but I'll be on if I have to.
So what's the makeup of the committee gonna be?
So it's-
Two members of the town hall staff with
And-
building experience.
Right, capital
One
planning,
member of capital
and
planning. Three
two
members of the general public.
of the public, one's gonna be an alternative. So we basically got one there for a backup.
So you have 2, 4, 5, and then one alternate.
Yeah,
A committee of 5 is good.
right, but I'm just saying, it's heavily stacked with sound people again, which we did with the police station, which we thought we wouldn't do again.
The only reason some of that's done is when they get into some of the fine details. They've got someone on the staff where Doug is, wear both hats with the Concom and has been also an assistant building inspector, and Martha is town planner and was like the registered architect still. It just makes things go so much faster, that's the.
But I just
that was
worry
the-
about how
that
much
was it. I'm not gonna argue, Mike. It's the only
I'm
reason.
just saying, I
If you
worry
don't wanna
about,
do it,
I just
bring it up.
worry about the amount of time, but we put in Martha. That's what my worry is.
If you wanna change this, now's the time to do it.
All right.
So make a motion to change it.
I make a motion to change it back to 3 voting members of the public and make it 2 people from the town government, capital planning, and 1 from town hall. Motion's been made.
So you wanna,
I wanna make it so we have 3 voting members for the citizens. And then 2 more that can represent town hall and capital planning.
what about the alternate?
The alternate's gonna be there because he's not gonna replace town planning, he's gonna replace somebody from the public. I read that, but maybe I read it wrong.
So currently there's 6 people
Right.
on here. You wanna change it to 5.
I wanna change it, I wanna make it
eliminate the
3, we can eliminate the alternate, we can do that.
alternate.
Just
What was
said-
that?
So eliminate the alternate, have 3 voting members of the town, and cut it down to 1 voting member of the town hall and 1 voting member of the planning board, capital planning.
Not the planning board, Kathy.
Capital, I said
You want 1 town hall employee,
Yep, 1 capital planning,
1 capital planning,
and 3 citizens.
3, 4, 5. And then what about the alternate?
And have an alternate if you want. Okay,
What role would you like the alternate to
I
have?
didn't have one, I don't need an alternate.
So you don't want an alternate?
No, I said, I'm fine with that one.
You think that's in the best interest of the town,
How
not
many,
have an alternate?
how many alternates do we have in all these committees?
Well, this is kind of an important committee.
This is, right, they're all important.
The thinking is, you know, citizens and regular people and even people in the trades can get things like this to a certain point, then there comes a point it becomes so technical, we really need professional help.
Maybe maybe we can
Yeah.
transfer it after the time, but I think we should do this, what's set up right now.
Transfer what?
Make it 5, make it 3 and 2, instead of 3 and 2 the other way.
And then transfer what?
I'm just saying, let's run with this, okay, so
Well-
they can do the charge.
As a point of order, a motion has been made, it hasn't been seconded, and we're in discussion.
Right.
So, does someone want to second the motion?
I'll second the motion.
Any discussion? Further discussion?
I've said everything I want to say
All those,
That's all you want to say?
about this part of the thing. I got more about the,
Well, we're gonna vote on the charge.
yeah, but I can't, I vote on this change. Do I have another, do you want all the changes? I have another change I'd like to make.
I think it makes more sense to discuss them one at a time.
All right, that's what I thought. I thought we could do them one at a time. So, one at a time. So, do you
Here,
want to
no.
vote on that now?
here are no more discussion. All those in favor?
All right.
Opposed? Okay. What's the second
Second
change?
issue was,
7:50.
Okay, can we put this on hold?
yeah, we can.
Good. Sorry, I didn't get you.
That's okay, whatever.
This might take a minute, so we have you posted for 7:15 in case there's anyone here,
Yeah.
that's interested in the matter. I want to start the hearing on time. So, do you want to run us through your proposal?
Read the petition?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I
Yeah,
have been in a
perfect.
little bit.
Yep. We need to, sorry.
You need to read that.
I need to read this, right?
Supposed to read.
Okay, so notice is hereby given that the Newbury Board of Selectmen will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, September 24th, 2019, at 7:15 PM at Newbury Municipal Offices, 12 Kent Way, Byfield, Mass., on the petition of National Grid and Verizon New England, plan number 284-01150, requests permission to install one JO pole on Tennis Court, beginning at a point approximately 400 feet west of the center line of the intersection of High Road. Install new pole number 3 and necessary facilities to serve new home at number 8 Tennis Court. Said poles to be erected substantially in accordance with the plan filed with the town of Newbury and marked Tennis Court, Newbury, Mass. Also for permission to lay and maintain underground laterals, cables, and wires in the above or intersecting public ways for the purpose of making connections with such poles and buildings as each of said petitioners may desire for distributing purposes. This is published in the Newburyport Daily News on Monday, May 9th, 2019.
Okay, we're ready for you. What's your name, sir?
John Butler.
Nice to meet you.
National Grid. Nice to meet you. And it's basically as read. The facilities don't extend far enough down the street to reach the home that's being built on number 8, that's being built on U0914. The house is pretty far along under construction. I believe the customer's intention is to serve the house underground from the pole to reduce any additional
Access.
visual stuff, aesthetic stuff for the area.
The only question I had from the highway department was to make sure, it wasn't clear to me exactly where the run was from the pole.
Yeah, I noticed that when I was looking at it myself, and I
And
drew it
so
up.
he wanted to make sure there was no road cutting involved in the trenching, and I assumed the pole was on the same side as the house, but I can't make it out from what is in the packet.
We've done a lot of repaving in the last few years.
Did Tenny Court just get repaved?
I don't
I-
think so.
Was that this summer?
I don't think it is.
I know.
I don't think it's big.
I'm not gonna say
No, I don't
that.
think so.
It's
We're gonna do some other upgrades to other facilities, but they're not shown on here because they're existing, that go down the court, and some of the other poles. It's pretty aged to begin with. But, I should have shown overhead coming from 2 to 3 on the drawing. This, language and maintain and lay underground laterals. That must be generic language they put on, there's nothing underground here involved. I think that's generic.
This looks like wires crossing overhead from diagonally from
It's
one pole
just,
to another.
it's just why, it's just an extent, yeah, because it's an overhead area and we wouldn't underground anyway. But the customer plans, as far as I know, to serve underground from the pole.
So they'll drop from the pole and go through their yard to the house.
Exactly.
It won't be
It
like
just
heading
had
up
me-
the road.
Yeah.
There's a
I'd be
little-
concerned because of the, I couldn't see what the plan was and the language threw me a little bit, so.
I'm gonna ask you actually about that, because we have different petitions for overhead and underground facilities, and I don't know why that's included on an overhead petition. I'm gonna ask about that tomorrow. This is a little different situation here, because I made a point to place the pole at the very end of the public taking, so he can be served from it. There's only a right-of-way after that.
Mhm.
And evidently, and it would require the owner of the property or the right of way that's on to grant easement for the.
Okay.
It's agreed.
Would it be
Oh,
best
I
if you
see.
backtracked and reviewed this, do you think?
In what respect?
Well, for more clarity?
I could have the, I could have it resubmitted as far as this, I don't understand why all that lateral information on underground cables is on there.
I don't either.
Well, the other way we could go about it is just to grant approval contingent on them not cutting the road.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Since it's clear that it doesn't need to happen, it's not, they don't intend to do it, we just make it, so I move that we grant the application contingent on them not cutting the road.
Second.
But, okay,
Go to discussion.
the only thing is, all that's for naught if he doesn't get the ability to run down the right of way?
No, he's gonna, that's why the pole's gonna abut his lot corner, so that he can serve directly to the pole.
Now I understand.
There isn't any, it's surveyed, it's pinned, and I'm gonna be as close to that pin as I can get to the poles. He couldn't cross, I'm gonna be in the public taking,
Mm-hmm.
he couldn't cross someone else's property without easement
Yep.
from the other person. Evidently, the lot abuts the other street, but he was told he had access
Yes.
from this side. I think that's conservation type land or something, a good portion of the lot he's on.
There is a conservation restriction on it, but he wanted to access from the tennis court side.
Well, he decided to access from that
That's what
side.
they wanted, that's what he wanted
I
to
see.
do.
Okay. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
So,
Thanks.
don't cut the road.
Okay, as far as you folks needing an amended cover for it, not necessary.
That would be a question for
That's all overhead.
Tracy and Martha. Yeah.
We're gonna find out why.
Yeah, if it's overhead work and you're not cutting the road, you know, A-okay. If you think you need to cut the road or things substantially change, please come back.
No, they're just gonna put the pole in, that's it.
Yeah, okay.
Thanks very
Thank
much.
you.
Have a good
Thank you,
evening.
John. Have a good night.
Okay, now we can flip that to the
Revised charge.
Town Hall Advisory Charge.
The only other thing I had a question about at all was the PEG Access Studio. Have we made a decision already that the studio is definitely going to Town Hall? Because I think this is the way this is written, I think that's the way it's said.
I don't know, in my mind, it seems like
Well-
whatever our Town Hall solution ends up being, that would be the proper place for it.
But
But that's just my own
okay,
opinion.
the only reason I say anything about it is we hired a media consultant a couple years ago. And they said not to do this. So why spend the money on a consultant if they say not to do it, okay? When we maybe shouldn't put in the thing, let the committee look at it. Let the committee decide if that should be, but to put it in there right away, I think we're spending money for bricks instead of communication.
We have that money.
We have money.
Alicia, would you like to explain the PEG funds?
I know the $650,000 left, we took $70,000 last year at town meeting, I know where the funds are.
Yeah.
Right, but you know something, we're still gonna need funds for Triton. We're still gonna need funds for running the thing. I still think we should have a professional running it now.
So,
That's where the money should be spent,
so
not
are you
on
saying, I'm confused, are you saying that you wanna ask this town hall committee to determine if the new town hall is the appropriate place for the PEG access
Yeah,
studio?
yeah, and then we can bring in things like the media consultants report, what the consultant said, okay? But the thing is, I don't want it in this thing right away, because it's like, it's a given that we're gonna look what it is. And I don't think it's a place it should be, myself.
Well,
I like what the consultant said was put it out of Triton in the field house, okay? Where you've already got half of the studio going with kids, then you get the other half going with the town of Newbury, and the kids can get involved, and that's where you're gonna get your help in the future.
Triton and the school district, I mean, the Triton School District and the town are two totally different
Right.
things. And I see multitudes of problems
Well,
with
there's
putting the town of Newbury's PEG access studio in the three towns
Can we
high school.
discuss it though, and put it up for discussion?
We have discussed that, and as a board in the past, decided that was not what we wanted to do.
Okay, well, why don't you just change it?
I'm
Okay.
just letting you know that
Okay.
that was a previous discussion. I do not think that the PEG access has to be in the town hall, but I think it's a good fit. I think we've, in our previous discussions of what the town hall would look like, it has always been a part of that project.
But if we decide to keep the current building, make an addition, maybe there's not room for a studio in there.
That's
Okay?
true.
well, that will be a decision. of
Right,
the
right,
committee.
but the thing I do is, why do we have to put, okay, have a space for the PEG access? That should not be in the charge, that should be in, for discussions the committee discuss. We'll put it in the charge. I don't think we should put it in the charge.
Do you want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Well, let me
Take
see,
it.
let me read this. Must meet or exceed the current space needs of town hall, be ADA accessible, have sufficient document storage space. Do you have any issue with those?
No,
Meet general building code, have plans and or room for future expansion. Do you have any problem with that? Have sufficient
Listen.
parking, have,
I'm just, I got one problem right there, that's all your
have
problem.
a space for the PEG access studio, and reduce the impact on the dangerous intersection of Morgan Ave, Parker Street, and High Road. The town hall advisory is strongly encouraged to seek community input about what residents would like to see in their town hall. So, why don't we, can we take this, have a space for the PEG access studio and kind of like cut that out and put it down the bottom where it says the town hall advisory committee is strongly encouraged to seek community input about what residents would like to see in their town hall, and including space for a PEG access studio
No
there.
problem. I have no problem with that.
How about instead of having a space, if we say, determine if the PEG access studio should be included?
Yeah, determine, yeah, the location, this is the appropriate location for that.
No problem with that language.
I don't wanna take it out.
No, you can not take it out, but take it out of the, have plans for, you can put it down to consider putting the PEG access studio in town hall, but not saying.
Because I think that might give the committee more flexibility too, to prioritize what's needed in the town hall.
I agree.
I feel strongly that PEG service needs to be at town hall. We'll have all the new high-tech connections to make it work properly, things we struggle with here. It seems the logical place to have it.
Yeah, and it might end up there still,
No, I don't, right, but let's discuss it.
yeah.
I mean,
Okay, does anyone want to second the motion?
I'll second, I'll second.
You made the motion.
No,
Does anyone want to second?
we should change the motion, so I'm seconding her change.
Martha's gotta be able to keep up here.
Yeah, right. She made a change, I'm seconding that change.
The
The
amended
amended
motion.
motion.
Okay, so seconded, so we
Any
seconded Alicia's amended
what's the
motion.
What is the motion?
To take the PEG access studio.
Alicia, did you make the motion?
No, I amended the motion.
And what was the
I
amendment?
amended it to say, The Town Hall Advisory Committee is strongly encouraged to see community input about what residents would like to see in their town hall, including a determination of that location space for the PEG Access Studio. Is that what I said?
Yeah.
Something like that.
And I said I would second that amendment.
Any other discussion?
I mean, I also feel like the studio should be in town hall, but I think I've felt that way for a long time now, so, I don't know that, I think this gives flexibility. I don't see it as particularly damaging to the charge, or, so I guess I don't object to it strongly.
Okay with it, so.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
No.
So that's 4-1?
Anything else?
That's good.
All right.
Before we leave this, the committee, I think we should probably try and seat it at the next meeting. We can do that.
So you want to see the committee next week? I haven't seen any qualifications from a couple of, I've seen one resume.
Yeah.
Okay, I'd like to see other resumes before meeting.
I think people have been waiting on seeing what the revised charge was.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know if we want, I guess the question is, do we want to try and set a date? Or now that we've adopted the charge, do we want to
Well,
open
why don't
for
we, I
submissions
think,
again?
yeah, I think we should just let the new charge, the amended charge come out. And maybe at the next meeting, we can read it again, and then we can ask Jen to broadcast to the general public.
I'm gonna need a copy of it. I don't have a packet.
Yeah,
Okay.
Do you have it? Thank you.
but it's been amended, so.
Yeah, I've been listening.
Put
Copy
you
and
to
paste.
sleep yet, huh?
Yeah, copy and paste. So that's just my thought, so that somebody has something to look at, 'cause right now, they have a chopped up thing. But I'll do it, I don't care, I'm not feeling
I mean, my initial rush for this was to try and get the committee formed so that they could have enough time to report at the fall town meeting, and they're not gonna be there, so I don't feel like there's an imperative rush to seat it, but I also don't wanna let it just disappear into,
Totally agree. Then
So-
we should ask for resumes to be submitted with all
Yeah.
people.
yeah.
I believe Alan's already asked for that.
She has, I think she's contacted people, so.
Did Miriam ever get back to us about, I mean, all those supportings, but Lisa meeting get back to us about, Mr. Knight's possible conflict of interest with Chair? That was on the table. Did you ever hear from her?
I'm not ready to address it, but I have addressed it with the council.
Okay, so can you share with us?
Yeah, there's no conflict.
Okay. Alright. All we need to know.
Anything else you want to talk
No,
about?
that's fine right now. So, thanks for talking.
So, all right, let's dive into fire department staff and discussion.
Yeah.
No.
okay.
I have one question.
Yeah.
When is your
About-
next meeting?
About which?
The Town Hall Advisory Committee, we're going to try to appoint those people at your next meeting. When would that be?
I don't know off the top of my head, October.
October 8th.
Yeah, what, second Tuesday?
Thank you.
So should everyone just send another resume in, or people have already sent resumes?
No,
I think the ones that have sent in are
Sent in, fine.
sufficient.
Good, okay, good. Okay,
So
so,
we want to skip that and do this first, or
What's that?
we were, I feel like this is next on the list.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
You wanna do that?
I was gonna get into the fire staff and discussion, but if you guys would rather save that for last week, yeah?
whatever floats.
I don't know, that's you.
Where are we
I
going?
just wasn't sure if you skipped over it.
No.
Okay.
If, all right, Byfield Community Arts Center rent agreement regarding rent payments by installments, discussion. So,
It's Heidi here. They have requested that they make monthly installments instead of the one annual payment for their lease. And I just wanted to get the board's approval.
are there any
for
other
agreement.
changes?
It was silent in the lease agreement. We never addressed how it would be paid. So I don't have any issue with it, but it just a deviation from the way we did it before, so I wanted to make sure you guys are aware of it.
There's no late payments or anything?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, so,
it's okay, nothing's wrong with it, so I make a motion?
second?
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, fire department staff, unless there's anything else people want to do before we get into this.
Okay, I would like to have the chief come up and just, basically explain the 5-year plan. Welcome, chief, thank you for coming.
So a 5-year plan began a couple years ago. Another sheet walker actually was the first one. At the time, we only had the daytime staff. We had nothing in the evenings, nothing in the mornings. We felt the need, the second shifts were a little short, people coming back. So we ended up having 2 people in one station, usually in Newbury usually. 4 p.m. to midnight, 4 days a week, we did that. Next year, I became chief, we filled it out with the extra 3 days. So now we're staffed until midnight every day, nice, in one station. The overnights, we had a duty group, we still do, we have a duty group, they call it a duty group, very small from home. There's 2 from each station, so just geographically it's hard to have some people going to the island and vice versa. Unfortunately, a little while ago, we had an unexpected turnover of people that left, like 4 or 5 people that actually left that were very active in the duty group. We still have a duty group, and we're still covered mostly on the duty group. The nights we're not covered, there's people in the station. At night, there's 1 person on the duty group and that's it. That's not acceptable. So I'll put you in the station and just sleep there and be there, they don't live too far away. And that's where we're at right now. So, like I said, we had that unexpected turnover that, I didn't expect people to flee over some of the reasons they did. But the nights we're not covered. The deputy and I watch this every day. We're on our phones watching the movie and we can watch the sign of the shifts and all that. We're making a decision by noon time to set the overnight if we have to. So at no point is the town uncovered. Some people come from their houses some nights, and some nights are in the station.
How much money do you need to cover it at night?
For,
2 people, okay,
well, it's not my,
okay,
well, we had a plan, it was 4 nights the first year and 3 nights the second year.
okay.
So you wanna know,
So you get 7 nights now with 2 people in there overnight, right? Is that right?
well, only when we need, I only set that when we need it. The duty group is still active, come back from the houses.
Okay.
So the some nights where they just come from their homes.
See, I
So if you wanna know the 4 nights or the whole 7 nights?
The whole 7 nights, okay.
Just wanna make sure you get the right information.
But, like I said, my neighborhood's really sensitive right now because of what happened in April.
Yep.
Okay? And it's like, it's been an agenda and I put it off, okay?
Yep.
But I just wanna have some discussion about where we're going and everyone can sleep safe at night, that we get coverage in there at night.
Yeah, sure, that's
Okay?
right.
So, Chief, just to put it in a nutshell, in my conversations with you, just to put it in terms that regular people can understand, I understand that we have more coverage than surrounding communities, with
We do, yeah.
with the exception of Newburyport.
Well, if you compare the like departments, so Raleigh, West Newbury, Georgia.
Like-sized communities.
We're covered until midnight.
Right, I just don't want the notion that we're understaffed.
No, Raleigh's going until 4 o'clock in the night, and Georgetown's coming until 9 o'clock.
Right, and also you work with surrounding communities on mutual
Very
aid.
closely, Newburyport, I call them right off the bat for anything that comes in Newbury.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify that before we get any farther into the discussion.
Do the duty groups at home, are they able to collect any stipend for being on call?
They do, yeah, they have a.
So that's good.
They have a stipend on call.
Yeah, so they have
Yep,
the
they
ability.
back to call. So
Yep.
it's- yep. To do all 7 nights would be 139,000.
And how many people?
2.
This would be for this coming year.
Yes, yeah, well, Teresa and I already talked about discussing it in December when the budget talks come up.
I think it's really important because of the changes in the volunteer, what's the word I want?
A call.
Call site, okay, the changes in the call, I think, tell us now, we had a wonderful deal going for years.
Yep, yep.
Okay?
And just to be clear too, this isn't unique to Newbury, this is
Right,
nationwide.
nationwide, right.
You know,
But we had a
nationwide,
great thing going for years,
not just
and
us.
maybe we have to start paying up a little bit more. I know people get more, but the thing is, we got a big auction coming tomorrow, I think it is, okay? Maybe some of that money from general funds can be designated town meeting to fill your needs right away.
That would be a one-time
I
solution.
don't know about that.
That would be a one-time
That would be a
solution.
deviation from our financial
All right.
policies
Yeah.
that we've just.
Okay.
Well, let's hold
Let's see what
hold
the
up
people want.
because, I mean, there should be some visioning, and I know there has been on the 5-year plan, to staff each fire station every night with 2 people in each station.
The end of the plan calls for, it'll be, both stations will be staffed 16 hours a day, and then 2 on the overnight, not both stations, 1 station on the overnight.
That would make it, yeah.
Yeah.
I was having trouble with it,
Yeah.
2 in each station, that wasn't
Yeah,
adding up to me.
yeah, right.
All right.
And to be honest with you, the original plan that actually Larry Gay asked for, that's how we get into this quite a few years back, called for staffing both stations first on the 16 hours. Like I said, we had that mass exodus of people left for different reasons left on the overnights. So and the plan is always fluid. It's always a fluid thing. Tracy and I and Wally and all of us monitor this on a daily basis. And we're always raised to all the same, this happened, that happened. We're always in communication, always. So it's, and my only fear, Mr. Doyle, and I'm completely no fire chief, I love staffing. But, my only fear of doing that is, we found out a few years ago when we were kind of suffering, Byfield did that, we had let the second shift go. We lost the contract in Georgetown years and years ago.
Okay.
The only thing that happened was, the problem is the call fire departments, the call guys are on, they get used to not listening to the ambulance call and make a little call, because we're staffed. Then when you take our staffing away, they tend not to be busy doing little things. So once you, I just want to see sustainable staff.
I agree.
It can't be a one-year show.
You can't fund it for 1 year and
No.
then figure out you can't.
No, but maybe we can start telling the town we're gonna have to fund this, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, that's,
Yeah, getting the town prepared for the
yeah,
future.
that's fine, and that's a great sign going to our budget talks.
That's why it's so important with the 5-year plan that you've been working on,
Yep.
that we roll this in slow so we don't
Well,
shock the taxpayers at
I've
home.
been telling Ray-
Mike, can you please let me speak?
Okay.
Thank you. We have to be careful about giving you guys what you need, but we can't get out of control in staffing for what-ifs, because that'll get dangerously
Well,
expensive
that's,
for the
that's,
taxpayer.
plans what it's a minimum staffing, but I understand that, we can't just.
It was always kind of healthy with it coming from part of the finance committee through,
Yes.
hitting you, hitting us, hitting Tracy. I mean, when the finance committee was involved somewhat in that first initiation of the 5-year plan, and the police of the 3-year plan, right? So, I mean, it's kind of, it's all good.
Yeah, it is.
So I just want to say, Doug, that I'm very thankful that you're there, and I'm thankful that you guys, I'm proud that Newbury is leading the other communities in staffing. It's vital.
And I appreciate all of you, this board have been very supportive of the fire department, we really, really appreciate it. We really
Yeah.
do.
Thank you.
Tracy, we're very, very, very appreciative.
Thanks, Steve.
You guys
Thank
are
you so
super.
much.
Thanks, Steve.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Have a
much.
night.
Thanks for coming tonight, Wally.
Thank you all.
All right, we have some correspondence. Oh, administrators report, sorry, Tracy. Done it right by the- Veterans Agent Karen Tyler has asked us at our next Board of Selectmen's meetings, please announce the office hours of your town. You only have to announce your town, not all of them. I will be at each town once a month. Karen Tyler will be in Newbury on Tuesday the 3rd from 10:30 to 12. And I assume that's upstairs here somewhere, right in this room?
I assume so.
Okay.
Karen also asked me to tell the board that we are having a Byfield lunch for the veterans on the 12th.
Where's that?
At the Byfield, November 12th.
November 12th.
The day after Veterans Day. We're having a veteran lunch she's gonna reach out to local politicians. Basically, we want to do what Newburyport did on a smaller scale this year, which the veterans lunch was a huge success with the Yankee homecoming. And we want to do the same thing here. And she's already involved Buster Can, she's already involved, she's what,
Where are you gonna have it?
at the Byfield Town Hall. I mean, Byfield Arts Center.
Okay.
And
Is it big enough?
yeah. For this year, it's new, we may only have 50 vets. You know something, it's that to recognize.
Oh, yeah, I just didn't know it was big. Big enough.
Maybe next year we'll be bigger. Okay, but other than that, that's all I had to tell you.
Administrators report.
Thank you. So I have good news, I have great news, and I have a little bit of bad news. Starting with our free cash certification. We have received notification from the Massachusetts Department of Revenue that our free cash has been approved at an all-time high for our community. We have just certified $2.8 million, $2,803,520. In addition to that, our ambulance enterprise fund has certified their free cash at $104,129. So absolutely want to take a moment to recognize the efforts of Eileen DeVoe, who worked tirelessly, really, to get it all done, so we'd have it certified prior to town meeting if we needed funding available for our project, our building project. And also to Chief Janver, who has successfully managed the ambulance program.
You should actually call him in so we can hear this.
Okay.
Damon, call him
We're
in so we can hear
complimenting you,
this.
so you should come back in. And next time you guys have.
You're gonna get some
a talk, you need
kudos.
to go a little further away. So we can
Come on,
back in and get
I know you wanna run, but you got kudos coming.
You start over again?
Sure, okay.
Tracy, start again, because Jen's here too.
All right, Jen, we've got good news, great news, and a little bad news.
Okay, good.
The good news is our free cash was certified at $2,803,520, which is an all-time high for Newbury, and we continue to increase each year. In addition, the ambulance enterprise fund free cash was certified at $104,129. So I did want to recognize Eileen DeVoe's effort in certifying so we'd have it available for town meeting. And Chief Janvern, Deputy Chief Zeeler, the whole team over there has managed the ambulance program successfully for the 4th year in a row. And that was something that, the Finance Committee was very, hawkish over that, concerned about whether or not we were going to be able to manage it as a full enterprise fund. And obviously they've been able to demonstrate that they can, they have.
And it can be profitable.
It's profitable, and we've been able to charge all of the indirect costs against the enterprise fund as well. So the costs for having Eileen DeVoe do the accounting, having the treasurer collector's office process the payroll. So it is indeed a fully functional enterprise fund, self-supporting, with the intention of being able to buy new equipment, new ambulances and the like. So it's well done.
And Tracy, just as an aside, when I had the right knee done, the Oxycontin made me really sick. And when I went out with like 68/38 blood pressure that night, and I could just barely see the guys, my friends that I knew coming through the door, it was one good feeling to be picked up by our guys.
Just the other day, August 6th, my wife got hauled to Boston, Mass General, same, excellent treatment.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's unbelievable.
So we just wanted you to hear that.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Can I just one more thing?
Of course.
And think one other thing. I just want to mention that when the roads get slippery or if there's snow on the ground or anything, we set pole stations and lights anyway, during the winter. So if it's even a little slippery, I always have both.
And storms.
Yeah, they use storms, I always have both
You're in
stations.
there.
It's probably go from there to there if it's slippery, so.
Yep.
And, are you gonna give an update on the trucks? Is that different?
It is, but you go right ahead. Go ahead.
Perfect.
You're there.
Okay, our ladder truck is finished.
Nice.
All the ladder trucks, I was fine, all of us.
When do you pick it up?
We went on Friday to drop off the loose equipment and mounted the radios, over the striping concepts and all that. It's not in demand now, so we went on Friday to do that, Debbie and I went down, and a bunch of us went down. So a couple of weeks, what they're thinking, yeah, so probably a couple of weeks they'll be delivered to New Bridge.
Awesome.
And they might bring it up a little before that to make sure it fits in the station. Confident.
It's a joke.
They meant it's a joke.
Let a little air out of the tires.
Hey, Jeff,
Yes.
you laugh. They adjusted the air suspension because the ladder itself was within our spec,
Yeah.
but the control box cover was 1.5 inches higher than the ladder.
Yep.
So thankfully, we had an air ride suspension when we spec'd the truck.
They can just
And
turn
we
it
were able
down.
to readjust it
Yeah.
and drop it down so it'll fit.
So,
Just remember not to put it up when you back it up.
The engine is in, the cab is probably into paint by now. probably not paint by now. We saw it down, it was heading into paint. So it's, I think maybe we'll be on October to see that, maybe it'll probably be back here in November. Yeah, actually, so.
I mean, all that stuff that Wally just said really happens, like being in the golf course industry.
Yeah, you know.
You go to order a new mower, and the standards change for roll bars, and you can't cut them or fold them or anything, and now you have to build a new door. You know, so it's just a difference in where the standards go.
It's, I want to thank again the board and Tracy for the support, and also the citizens of the town of Newbury. I mean, it's a proud feeling going down there that they supported us to get these 2 new trucks.
Nice.
Awesome.
I can't say enough for the citizens, how well they treat us, so
Nice.
Awesome.
very, very happy.
Nice.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chief. So the great news. Early last week, I had an opportunity to make a financial presentation to Standard & Poor's. And I am thrilled to report to you that Newbury has just been upgraded. We have now achieved the highest possible bond rating, and we are a AAA community.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
Congratulations.
Yeah, making,
The timing couldn't be better.
well, exactly, making the move to AAA, especially from where we started, is absolutely a monumental task, which is why I take such tremendous pride in this accomplishment. I really
Kudos
do,
to you.
I really do.
Kudos to you.
We have a team, an outstanding team of financial professionals who consistently provide high-quality services every day, and now we have the AAA bond rating to prove it.
Tracy, I think it's really gotta be said too, because I've been around long enough to remember when we were going for a $900,000 override, because we were that far in the red.
Yeah.
So, and that's what, 7 years ago?
2011.
And when it's tough at times to keep funding your reserves and adhering to good financial practices, you get 4 or 5 or 6 years into it and it pays dividends.
Yeah.
It definitely
And
does.
I'm proud of you for steering us in the right direction financially. And I'm proud of our board over the last 5 or 6 years for adhering to the policies of the town. That is what's got us here, teamwork.
It is.
Good
It
sound,
absolutely
good
is.
sound.
And so what does that mean for us for when we go to?
So the rating, a AAA rating signals that the town's bonds are a very safe investment, first of all, and it also translates into savings to the taxpayers, as the highest rated communities pay the lowest interest, they're charged the lowest interest on the money that they borrow. So naturally, like the chairman said, it couldn't come at a better time because we've got our projects right ahead of us. So, you know, and also like you said, it does take a team. These accomplishments don't come easy. Ellen and Eileen were phenomenal in helping, number one, generate all the data. You have no idea the amount of data that you have to present when you're going into a rating. So Eileen putting it all together and Ellen organizing it for the presentation, and the leadership of the board, because like the chairman just mentioned too, sticking to those policies can be very, very challenging. You know, when you want to, whether it's
People wonder why we sweep remainders.
into those accounts.
Exactly, and you know,
Yep.
it's tough to explain that these are the things we need to do to run a healthy town and to not have to run to you folks for overrides at every turn, and this is how we get there.
Right, being disciplined, not using one-time money to fund operating budgets, not, you know, we're all, those are the easy fixes, but being disciplined enough not to do that. And we've gotten into a routine of doing that, but they specifically spoke about the implementation of policies and initiatives that helped gain this AAA rating. They talked about our investment policy that we adopted in 2013, our OPEB policy, which we adopted in 2015, our pavement management program in 2016.
Best roads in the state.
We have phenomenal roads.
And I just wanna give a shout out to Chuck there for
Yeah,
that.
Chuck did
That
that.
was
He
him.
did it.
Yeah.
He was driving that from the
Yeah.
beginning, he
Right.
fought for that override,
Right.
and because of so because we have our internal stream of revenue to fund our
Yeah.
roads,
Yeah.
that made us a better,
Because we're
That's stuck
AAA
out to
rating,
them.
financial managed.
And Alicia, we did the study too, so we know what roads to do, you know.
Right.
boom, 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 boom.
That
So
must have
you
been- yeah.
effectively have taken the politics
out of road prioritization, because you're, you know, repairing your worst roads while
And that gained us a
maintaining.
better rating.
No?
Wow.
Good
The
policy management.
financial management policies, which we adopted in 2017, the capital improvement plan of 2018, and the financial forecasting model that I use, that we started using in 2018. All of those were instrumental in moving us forward. So, I mean, clearly Newbury's financial house is in very good order, and we are undergirded by a very strong foundation of all the best practices in financial management. So,
Puts the pressure on for us to continue.
yes, it does.
Yeah.
Yes, it does. And that was one of the other
We
things
can't
they
let it
mentioned,
slip.
with these types of policies in place, when, if you guys are all gone and our financial team is all retired, the next people just pick it up and
They'll-
continue
they'll have-
on, and
they'll have
that's
the
very
tools.
important.
Right.
Exactly, exactly. So, so that's the great news. Well, the bad news is, I've received, notification from our conservation agent, Doug Packer, that he's gonna be retiring as of July 1st, 2020. So I'll be seeking a replacement, probably starting sometime around March, with the intention of having an overlap period of approximately a month, maybe even a little bit longer. Doug's been here for 22 years, and, you know, he has a great way of addressing the wetlands issues.
Especially
so-
with Plum Island, there's a lot of history, a lot to know, and to teach the replacement
Exactly,
person.
so we're gonna have to get the right person, for sure. So that's the bad news. Also wanted to just keep you updated on the triple E threat. The Northeast Massachusetts Mosquito Control has completed their third round of aerial spraying here, and has sprayed a total of over 1,200 acres in Newbury. And just last night, they did spray Manorfield again. They're keeping the Board of Health apprised of the testing results and what actions they're gonna be taking as a result of the testing. And detailed information can be found on our website, or anyone is welcome to contact the Board of Health directly. Plum Island, 5th Street right of way. I don't know if you've had an opportunity to go down there. There is severe erosion in this area. It's kind of migrating northward. You can see the vertical scarp is noted throughout that whole area, with the exception of the access point where you could see where people have been coming on onto the beach area, and it's all broken down by the foot traffic. So that particular access point, and actually some of the other ones, are going to be vulnerable should for accelerated erosion, should the wave action continue to reach up to that point. So Doug Packer did recommend that we close it immediately, so that is currently closed until further notice, and he's out there periodically watching it.
Fortunately, it's late in the season, so.
Well, now, didn't we have a stockpile of sand that we used for these, just for these reasons?
We used, the last time that we had, we used for dressing Harvard Way. The Board of Selectmen had voted to maintain the Harvard Way access.
That's right.
For a public access. When we had a stockpile, I'm not sure if it's all been deployed over there in preparation for the work that's gonna be done at the Oakaway staging area. So I believe it was all put on Harvard Way.
That was, I forget exactly how long ago, but before we had the trouble in Annapolis Way, that was the original hotspot, before we had the original sand that came with the Great Lakes dredge, and we were able to get the Corps to put the sand on the beach.
Yeah.
With the help of Bruce Tyler and the MRBA. And that mitigated that center section,
Right.
but it was not good again.
So, what happened with the dredging? The
The
dredging project, aren't they
the
supposed?
dredging, everything with the Corps is always subject to funding.
Oh,
And they're talking 2020 for even doing this river, and the Piscataqua dredge is out to 2021, if we're lucky.
oh, that's, we're supposed to get to this guy.
Well, both. You remember, they got a dredge thing, but we have Center, and Newburyport has Reservation Hill.
Right.
And we still get a little bit of exposure down, you know, where Marty Serage's house is, where some of the blue is, you know, they're getting more snow, but it's still.
Their beach is growing so much.
No, they got a little beach down there now.
Yeah, I know, it's really nice.
But I'll tell you, that center island stuff is getting kind of scary again. Meaning that if we have a really hard winter, it could be a little treacherous.
Frank, one quick question. With Doug's retirement, is this gonna affect him being on the, I mean, if he's the one that's on the green committee, on the town hall committee, as a town employee?
The committee sunsets in 6 months, so.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so you'll still be
You'll
in
still be,
that,
okay.
yeah.
I will say on that though, as we have retirements coming up of other key people in our town, I've worked with Doug a lot in the environmental end of things. I don't know where the backlog of information is gonna exist when we try to hire someone else, especially for issues on Plum Island, the marsh and all the other things. Salisbury just lost Michelle, and when we lose Doug, it's not gonna be good.
So I told Doug he should have up a part-time consultant business.
But everyone, you know, been here a long time, wants to have a little life.
Yeah, that's all that.
No, we certainly wish him well.
Yeah.
The Triton Cable Access Project has been completed. We received the invoices and they've been submitted for processing. The total was $84,000. Newbury was paying $75,000 as was voted at the town meeting, and Salisbury was expected to pay the balance, so that's been completed.
Nice.
Our Newbury Library was visited recently by the Library Land Project. I wasn't aware of them, but I understand from Jean that they're like like restaurant critics for libraries. And they received extremely high marks, 4.5 out of 5 stars, I guess. In addition, they made note of the fact that the town supports this important resource. They described it as an unexpected gem, a nice example of a well-run and well-loved town library. They were impressed by the friendliness and responsiveness and general happiness of the employees in the building. So congratulations to them and the employees and the board of trustees in receiving such high marks. And just wanted to remind you that the Friends of the Library will be holding their Harvest Festival on October 19th from 10 to 2. I think some of you are
Judging pumpkins.
committed to judging on pumpkins, yeah.
I did it last year, but I have a wedding this year in
Okay.
Connecticut, so I
Yeah, I
can't.
think
I want to interrupt.
10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Yep.
Yeah, she said they'd be there at 12. Did you do
Bring
five?
money, because they have soup.
Oh, good.
Um,
That's about homemade soup.
Is that the, when they do the contest?
Yeah. Good time.
Kudos to the library.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's wonderful.
Yep.
That means they work hard down there. I've always loved going to the
It's a good
library.
group.
Oh, yeah, it's a
That's
great
it. But
group.
also, think we should tell them what, like, congratulations on the board. Yeah, I'm just saying, just putting it out there.
They just won an award.
But congratulations for it. All right.
National Grid has notified us that they will be replacing the gas main from numbers 1 through 26 Withington Street. They'll also be replacing the piping that connects the main to the customer's meters, so they'll be affecting probably about 22 households. And let's see, they expect the work to be completed by the 5th of October.
Have the homeowners been notified?
They do all direct notifications and direct contact. They just want us to know as well.
How long is the homeowner up there? Yes, is this for hours or is it, how long do they?
I don't know the answer to that.
That's my neighborhood, I'll be next.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. Let's see, tax foreclosure auction, again, is being held tomorrow here at noon in this room. The Main Street properties and Independence Way bidding are expected to be very competitive. There are 19 parcels in total. Let's see. And any funds received from that, I've had a couple of inquiries about what happens to that money. That money becomes a miscellaneous revenue, if you will. We net it against outstanding taxes. So whatever is due on those properties gets netted out to zero, that receivable balance. And then any excess just closes out and becomes a component of next year's free cash. So it becomes a
It
certification.
doesn't go into,
Sale of town-owned land, no.
yeah.
Yeah, that was the question I had. No, no, this is a different process. see, the Plum Island bathroom project, more good news. Notification from Senator Tarr's office that the General Appropriations Bill Conference Committee has filed its report on the fiscal year 2020 state budget, and there is $40,000 included for the development of the bathroom facility and the police annex on Plum Island. Vesta Architecture has been out there a couple of times. They had a preliminary plan. They're working right now on pricing and construction drawings. The DPW has taken out some of the walls so they could see what was behind there, and that's moving forward. So, you know, it wasn't as much as we had hoped, so we'll likely have to fund a portion of it. I'm hoping that we'll have her construction estimates prior to town meeting, so we'll be able to see what the difference is. The DPW is going to be able to do a lot of that work, and actually one of our members, I may have noted previously, Brian Labara, has achieved a contractor's license, so he could do, he's amazing finished carpenter, he can pretty much, between the whole team, they can pretty much do anything, so they'll do a lot of the work, so we'll realize some savings, but you know, the professional grade fixtures and things that will be put in there are expensive.
Right.
Toilets and plumbing and the electrical.
It will be a salute to the porta potties.
We'll be sorry to see those
Before
go.
we leave the Plum Island, for a second, I wanna ask the board if they, how they feel. Where the porta potties are now, there is water that we can, there is like, what do you call it? Remember, there's a water spigot, there's a hook up there. What do we think about having, it not full, like a full shower, but at least something to wash your feet when you come off the beach, like turn it on and rinse it off?
We had talked a few years ago about adding a viewing platform and that, you know, that type of environment there.
I think if it's there, if we have the ability to do it, and it's short money, I think it would be a benefit. What do you think?
I wouldn't be opposed to it.
Just gotta have some sort of faucet that shuts off.
Well, it's gotta be
Yeah.
the ones that they have, like they
You
have up at
push it,
Hampton
it
Beach.
goes
Yeah, yeah,
for a
it goes
few
in,
seconds.
right.
Yeah, I mean, I think if we did that, we'd also wanna have a water fountain or bottle filling station there, cause it would be potable water, so.
But, right, so, but there is water there, so that's my point, so I'm thinking it would be,
Might be an easy upgrade.
yeah.
Would you like me to bring back the area plan so you can take a look at that again, refresh yourself?
Yeah,
and see if
would you mind?
No, not at all.
What do you guys think?
I think the plan
I think we
I'm
can
just
get-
trying to figure, you know, can some of that
maybe
be part of the bathroom? I don't
Right.
know.
I think we gotta have a, we gotta come
No,
up
I
with.
think they have to be separate. But I think we just certified 2.8 million in free cash, and if we can wash our feet when we come off the beach, that wouldn't be a bad thing.
I'll never say no to a violent issue like that. I've done it all the time.
I think
It's not a bad idea.
So for an update in terms of Ogle Way, the appeal period date came and went. DEP did not appeal our request for
Nice.
determination of applicability that was approved by the Concom on, I think, August 19th. So the DPW is working with our engineer to shoot the final grades, and they're planning to have the work completed hopefully by the end of next week. It's all gonna depend on how quickly they can get the paving company out there.
Nice.
So that'll be done.
Hopefully this is a more palatable solution
Oh, yeah.
for the
Hopefully,
residents
yeah.
down there.
They'll be happy with that.
Yeah. The streetlight conversion project is almost complete. We've got about 13 conversions left that haven't been addressed at all. And then there's another 29 that will need National Grid to install some sheathing before they can be converted. And also another dozen or so that need tree work before they can be completed. So it's gone relatively quickly.
I was surprised how fast they could move, and I have to admit, the LED streetlights were a little shocking at first, but now I barely notice them.
You don't notice them, yeah. And we are still seeking a ZBA alternate.
Yeah, that's gonna be a tough one.
That's all I know.
Think you can work that in, Jen?
Yeah.
Thank you. All right, thank you for a very good administrator's report, loaded with good news.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you.
All right, we have correspondence. We have a letter from Comcast Xfinity with all the good news they always give us.
We'll take away more stuff.
Dear Chairman and members of the board, we are committed to keeping you and our customers informed about changes to Xfinity TV services. Accordingly, please note that effective October 10th, 2019, Turner Classic Movies TCM will move to the sports entertainment package. It will no longer be included in its current service packages. We are notifying impacted customers of these changes through a bill message. Sincerely, Robert F. Sullivan, Senior Manager, Government Affairs. We have another email from Jonathan Higgins, from Higgins Environmental, who's the inventor and gentleman that is running the Peapod cleanup in the green. He just keeps us apprised. I've read many of his lengthy emails. He's had great success pulling excess phosphates and other nutrients out of the upper green pond, so his experiment seems successful, and he's ongoing and still working on it.
I talked to him Sunday, the day of the muster.
Yeah, was he out there working on it?
Working, like you said, because of the hot weather, we had a huge algae, and he had it running under control.
Yeah.
Tell me he's good.
Yeah.
He's doing, and like I said, I put something on Facebook about what he's done for the town.
And Friends of the Newbury Town Library, October 19th, 2019.
Chair,
Yes.
back on John's email,
Yeah.
he had a couple requests. And depending on what the board wants to do, I don't mind being the volunteer. I've known John a long time, and where I'm out in the environment quite a bit, but he needs, or is asking for references of, of the board. Or maybe it might even be better from our highway, or someone, but that's something we need to think about maybe till next meeting. Who would be the most appropriate person? Maybe it would be the highway supervisor.
Would it be you? I'm happy to.
Or Tracy would be fine, yeah. So we ought to think,
Yeah.
should we,
I just wasn't exactly sure what he needed from that volunteer.
I think he's gonna have people calling you, call us.
This is someone willing
Almost a
to
reference.
review him and his work.
Okay, that's,
How do you do?
yeah.
Right. How's he been to
Yeah, I
work
mean, I
with?
think any of us
Yeah.
who've been on the board, I mean, I was the one who pushed for first let them do the thing,
Oh, yeah.
because
Yeah.
I thought it would be a neat project.
Well, when you get into phosphorus and sulfur, he's getting rid of it, it's good. So, also, he's asking for a solid waste dumpster, if possible. I don't know for how long he needs it, but he's gotta get rid of some of that stuff.
Well, it sounded like, from the way I read it, I thought he just wanted to be able to get rid of 2 bags of the dried
That's
out
what it
algae.
looks like to me.
And
So-
figure a way to do that then.
There's gotta be a can with room in it in town, yeah. I guess we would,
So it's just a question of where can we authorize the disposal, and where would we have him bring it?
the logical place would probably be the DPW, I would think.
It just doesn't
Where
want
would
the
they put
dogs
it?
and stuff to get into it.
Yeah,
Talk to James.
so we could follow up on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think if we were agreed as a board that we'd like to help him get rid of that waste, we could ask Tracy to find the best spot to put it.
And who's gonna be the reference, Tracy?
If you want
I'm happy to
me
do
to
it.
give out the contact information for you,
Yeah,
I'm happy
people-
to let
Then you
them
can do
know.
it, you wanna do it, right.
Okay, Higgins, as we mentioned earlier, the Friends of the Newbury Town Library on October 19th, 2019 are having their annual Harvest Fest and Pumpkin Contest. Also, we got a letter from Warren P. Russo of Newburyport. I was a little disappointed to receive this letter. The tone of it, it's pertaining to faded signs and unused signs on Plum Island. I had a conversation about a month ago with Warren's brother, Vinnie Russo, and we had a discussion about it. I followed up with the highway department, Tracy, and we made a plan to remove some of the signs, and replace some of the faded ones.
Yeah, they're on order.
Right.
They've all been ordered quite a while ago.
So, but I just have to say, I was disappointed by the tone of his letter, especially being a journalist, not being from the community. I mean, the letter says things like ugly, ridiculous, stupid, poorly executed, dumb. These are things I highlighted in the letter. I wouldn't ever write anyone a letter like this, especially town officials from a neighboring community. I covered this all with his brother. I told him it was all under control. I don't know what the motive for this is, but I don't appreciate it. That's just my own personal opinion.
Totally agree with you.
That's all for correspondence. So, any meeting updates?
I just told you about the veterans. The only other meeting I went to was about the C10 meeting about there's gonna be regulatory hearings about Seabrook, which, at the parish church a couple weeks ago, they brought the head of the NRC, former head, and he just basically said, he goes, with all the alternatives against nuclear energy changing, he said, it's so much safer just to close that plant, okay, but so he said, you know, wind is changing, wind is cheaper, solar is cheaper, he said, if they're developing new things, he said, why would you take a chance of Chernobyl, or he says, the perfect storm happened over in Japan. And he says, you know, why would you take that chance on an area like this that's pristine? So that's all I'm just, you know, so I am gonna try to go to the hearings after school one day. Other than that, that's all I've been to.
I think it was Monday, I met with Lisa and Martha and executed the letter from the town for the 40B project. So that's gone off.
He acknowledged receipt, so.
Acknowledge receipts, okay.
Great.
it's in
Got
their
that,
hands.
that piece done.
What's the next step for that? When will we hear?
I don't know when the town is likely to hear. They'll review the comments. I think they're getting an appraisal on the property. I don't know if that's been done yet, but the next step would be for them to decide either to grant approval, give the applicant a project eligibility letter, grant approval with conditions, or deny it. I have no idea how long that will take.
Okay, we have meeting minutes to approve. April 2nd, 2019, July 16th, 2019, August 27th, 2019.
Motion to approve all?
Well, I have.
I can't vote on the second because I wasn't here.
Okay.
Okay, so that too.
Do you have a correction?
Yeah, correction on August 27th. Do you want to take them one at a time?
Sure.
It's 27.
Well, let's do the first one then.
August, April 2nd, which I can't do anything about.
I move we approve the meeting minutes from April 2nd.
Okay, second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
I abstained.
And then what's the next one?
16th.
16th, July 16th. Yeah, I move we approve the minutes from July 16th.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And I have an amendment on the 27th. It was just a little typo. I don't know if you want to tell that. It's
Right here.
submitted to DPE and should be DEP.
Okay. That's a type of correction on it.
Yeah,
That's easy then.
that's it. But
Okay.
if we go back and read it, it's like, who's DPE?
Where's that?
What page?
Page 4, the third paragraph from the bottom, the overlay.
Just a little typo.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
just
just
typo.
transposed.
I just wanted it noted what page it was on, so it would be easier for Ellen to find it.
Yeah, page
and
4,
fix it.
third paragraph
Um,
from the bottom. At least I found it right.
Time of physical education.
yeah, motion to accept the minutes with that correction.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, minutes approved. Do we have any warrants to sign tonight?
Motion to
super.
sign warrants.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We have no executive session. I just want to piggyback onto a little bit of something Mike brought up earlier. He asked me about a potential conflict of interest between Richard Knight and myself. Richard Knight is my girlfriend's brother. He is my 12-year-old son's uncle. He's a descendant of first settlers of this town. He's lived here his whole life. He's an unrestricted general contractor. He's worked on many different types of projects, and he wants to help. I didn't want to discourage him. I've contacted town council to see if there was any type of potential conflict of interest, and there is not. So I'd just like the record to show that. And if we keep picking and poking and making demands of people that want to volunteer to do these thankless jobs, we're gonna have no help. We'll have no help at all. And we need to, there might be other members of this committee that could have potential conflicts with people that serve on boards. But if we get nitpicking, we're not gonna get any help from the people we need, and we need this help. So that's all I have to say about that. No executive session. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Have a good night, everyone.
Thanks for coming.